It's going.
Oh, yeah, nah, pretty good.
Thinking we should chuck a podcast. What do you reckon?
Oh, yeah, nah, I can. Come round, let's do a thing.
Hello, every motherfucker.
We got them last sips in, didn't we?
Yep, that was synchronized too.
Yeah, that was quite funny.
People might think that's a conspiracy.
Oh, there you go. So today's episode, what are we talking about?
We are getting spooky. We're going conspiracy theories.
And I don't know how to start, really. Let's just start off with something simple. Santa Claus. He's a conspiracy.
I saw a thing the other day that was like, my dad said to me, you believed in Santa Claus for 8 years. You can believe in yourself for 10 minutes.
Oh, that's so true. But yeah, well, actually, let's kick off of that one because we've just gone through Christmas.
Santa Claus.
At 20 kids listening, I'm sorry. And parents, if you have your child with you,
you're not ready to break the news.
Yeah, and just skip forward a minute
this
or
episode.
two. What age did you find out?
I don't exactly remember, but I distinctly remember it being one of those situations of an older kid being like, you don't still believe in Santa Claus, do you? And me being like, no, of course not. That's dumb baby stuff. And then being like, fuck, what does he mean?
Yeah. I think I put two and two together when I was around, I think I must have been around 10 maybe. I don't know if that's early or late. But what I remember is finding out that the presents, the handwriting, and it said from Santa was the same handwriting as from mum and dad. I'm like, you guys got the same handwriting. But
I'm the world's greatest detective.
Exactly. But I also remember like going to a friend's house and realizing that I think that's where I put two and two together. Like, your Santa's handwriting isn't the same. And then I was like, okay.
All right. How many Santas are there?
Yeah. Back to the tooth fairy. Who put the money under my pillow? But yeah, so conspiracies today, and 2020 was just full of them because
rife with conspiracy.
Everyone was at home on their phones looking for the answer.
Exactly.
And today we're going to give it to you. No, we're not. We don't know shit. And the thing is with conspiracy theories is that it's so hard to prove what's right and wrong, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's some where you kind of hear certain parts and being like, that's really weird. And then other ones where you just go, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Like
The Simpsons always, they've always ahead of the game with their conspiracy theories.
That's kind of spooky.
Yeah. But last year was full of them, and I think it's a bit out of hand now where I don't know if I care or don't care. It's all like with COVID.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't care because it's a reality anyway, and like if I know the truth of it,
yeah, what can we do about it?
Yeah, what am I going to do about it? It's literally nothing.
But does some people make you feel like you're a part of the problem if you don't do anything about it?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
It's just like, they love to do that, sheeple thing.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, what? Yeah, I am. I'm a sheep. That's fine because But yeah, it's like, it comes back to me with the pick your battles thing. It's like, where can I better invest my time? A lot of other places.
Yeah.
But I do like hearing a good conspiracy theory.
The plausible ones. I like the plausible ones.
Yeah, or like I said, just like the interesting kind of spooky ones where it's like, there's a lot of things that line up here that kind of point in that direction.
Yeah.
And that makes me suspect of the whole situation.
Yeah.
In terms of like, where COVID came from or like 5G relay towers there to control our minds and...
Well, yeah. Look, shout out to Alex Reichelt. He is going to be joining us this year and he loves a good conspiracy theory.
Loves a conspiracy.
So because when COVID started, he fed me a few points.
Oh, okay.
And because he was talking something about the 5G network. Now, I don't really at the moment care because I got a new phone and I've got great reception. Mm-hmm. So that's whatever. However, I've got a headache. But because of this information I got given, I'm like, shit, has that something to do with it?
Yeah.
But he's got some crackers that he's going to make us think twice about. But
Yeah.
we'll get into them when we talk to him.
Yeah.
But the 5G thing, from what I've heard, is that it's not a worry, like as much as it should be.
Yeah, because like I'm sort of the kind of online echo chamber that I've created for myself in terms of like whose content that I follow and whatnot are people who are adverse to electromagnetic intrusions. You know, they turn their phone off or put it on airplane mode and keep it in separate rooms when they sleep, all that kind of thing, because they know the kind of energy that it creates and that they don't want that. It's disrupting. And even those people are going, no, you know what I mean? It's like from an understanding of like the frequency levels that it transmits at, no, like, you know, and anything that gives off an electromagnetic field, like literally everything around us in this room right now, it disrupts us in some way, but that's the reality of what we live with. But it doesn't necessarily have to be some kind of nefarious mind control device or sending you an illness or, you know, all that kind of wild shit.
Here's my thing. With the whole 5G network, is it dangerous as opposed to your home Wi-Fi? Like, is one thing not as bad as the other? Is Wi-Fi at home has its bad things as well?
Well, look, like I really don't profess to know a lot about this, but from what I'm aware of is that the frequency that these things operate at, it's disrupting but not damaging. Do you understand? Like, and so I think actually what's a greater harm is irradiating food with a microwave.
Yeah.
You know, and denaturing the structure of the cells and then consuming that.
Yeah.
Like that's probably going to be more damaging than cell phone reception towers.
Yeah. I think, again, just when it comes to the whole 5G argument, if you're that hectic about a frequency like that, to me, you should just be living in the bush without reception in any way possible.
Yeah.
Until you do that, I don't really need to argue.
This is my point of like the whole pick your battles thing as well, because it's like you got beef with a 5G tower, you got beef with everything in your house.
Yeah.
Like that light switch on the wall over there has electromagnetic field.
Yeah.
That light, this desk, that iPad, that phone, the headphones on our heads, that computer, everything.
The device that you are listening to us on right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like everything has it and your body feels it, receives it, it passes through you in some form or another. So it's like either everything's sacred or nothing is. Do you know what I mean? So if it bothers you that much, fuck off to the bush. Yeah. Live off the grid.
That's it.
Because there's people already doing it, and props to them.
Yeah.
They put their money where their mouth is. And I respect the hell out of that, even though you're crazy.
And you wouldn't be listening to this anyway.
Yeah. They won't hear me say that, so they're not going to be insulted.
We'll have to send them a letter. Going back to my last thing, I might use
Carry
them
a
letters.
pigeon.
No, I'll have to use them envelopes finally. So, there's, okay, so 5G, I don't know, there's going to be 6G and then we'll think 5G is nothing.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
where do you stop? How many Gs do we get?
I don't know.
Before we're all just walking tumours.
yeah, exactly. One thing I don't do is I don't sleep with the Bluetooth headphones on.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to do that.
No, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I feel like something is happening then.
Yeah, and I'm not doing it at the moment, and I should. I used to do it, is putting the phone, because it's my alarm clock, but putting it away. A separate room, something like that. I always put it on airplane do not disturb, so I'm not getting bullshit through the night.
Yeah.
But it's still somewhat active, so getting that stuff away from you is only healthy.
Yeah. All right. Well, there goes 5G. Okay, another one. Straight off the bat, I guess let's just get it out of the way. COVID, is it real or fake?
I honestly did get suspect on it for a while because, like, of where we live, I was like, I don't know anybody getting it. You know what I mean? And this was going on for a long time. It's just like, oh, these reported cases, but no one around me. And then someone Rani works with, their parents were like diagnosed positive for it. So they had to do the whole quarantine thing. And then more and more people, basically, within, the 4 degrees of separation, less than, started testing positive for it.
Yeah.
And in my mind, to get the whole world on board with this, including some registered nurse at Caloundra Hospital who makes whatever a year, has to do shift work, to lie to the rest of the country about positive COVID tests.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little far-fetched. And then the other side of that to be like, there's one company producing all the testing things and they've got rigged ones. You know what I mean? I don't know. It all seems like far too large an operation.
I feel like it's happening so fast, it's hard to actually judge what's happening.
Yeah.
It's just like, I want to say things about it, but it's like, I don't know what to say. I believe, it's a virus and you can catch it and you can get sick from it. 100%. But at the same time, I just want to be healthy anyway and don't catch anything.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing that's not being spoken about with COVID in the general media is that they're going quarantine, stay inside, be afraid.
Yeah.
But what you actually need to do is like the reason why it's not going to affect people like you and me is because we get out in the sunshine. We eat good food. We have an immune system that's capable of fighting shit off.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we won't get it because there are athletes that are getting it and whatnot. But if you do happen to get it, it's probably not going to be as bad for people like us.
Yeah.
Because we've got a healthy immune system.
Yeah.
So that's what you need to be focusing on is good food. All the things that we always talk about on this that I bring up as just like little examples of biohacking your own life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I reckon it's definitely real, but it comes down to the typical, what is the media feeding us? What's there?
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole Rupert Murdoch kind of overlord wild stuff.
When vaccines come around, like I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I won't get one straight away. I'll let it fizzle out and let's just see what happens first. Then I might get one.
Yeah.
Because from what I remember, like just your general flu vaccine is meant to take like 5 to 10 years before it's like the right one.
Yeah. So I'm very wary of this.
Yeah.
And I'm not anti-vax at all because, polio, measles,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff has been dealt with thanks to vaccines. I don't align with that train of thought that vaccines are responsible for autism, etc. I don't believe there's any scientific link there. That's me personally. I'm ready to get attacked on the internet for having that opinion. But what I keep coming down to, and if I've already said this on a podcast before, I apologize. I hate repeating myself. But I always think of the morning sickness pill thalidomide.
Yeah.
So this was in, I think, the 60s or the 70s. Pregnant women took thalidomide to help with morning sickness.
Yeah.
And then all their babies were being born deformed.
Yes, I know this story. Yeah.
So typically they were being born without arms or deformed arms. So there's one guy who was born completely without legs.
Yeah.
And so he just had to walk around basically on his ischium, which is sort of like your sit bones. And there was generational onflow. So even those people, their babies were having issues.
Yeah.
And what I come back to is how many things are in our life at the moment, not even just this vaccine, which I believe is being rushed recklessly.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, this is a worldwide pandemic. We need the thing. We need to get it out to people. So just make it. And so it's all very rush instead of going, we need to sit back, look at this objectively and spend time seeing what this does. But how can you have an accurate study of something that's needed now to test what is this going to do to our kids, to their kids, to their kids?
Yeah.
Because it might be all well and good that like it protects us from this virus.
Yeah.
But we have no idea what the future of that is.
Yeah.
What if it's the end of the human race because it makes us all impotent somehow? Do you know what I mean? Like,
see, I want to have a kid first.
Yeah, exactly. So these are the kinds of things that, and I'm sure a pharmaceutical scientist would have answers to these kinds of things. It's like, when we look at the DNA structure and the genealogy and blah, 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 what we're doing here can't affect that.
Okay.
I can't sit here and explain those things to people. I can only tell you what my worries are. And it's
Yeah.
like, because things like thalidomide existed.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm very at arm's length with
The vaccine. Or
the vaccine definitely, but modern medicine, because it's so driven by the pharmaceutical industry for money as opposed to health.
Right.
So yeah, it's like I got beef with it in that aspect. So if it means I can travel again, I will be very interested.
Yeah.
I will be hovering around, finding out what is this vaccine doing.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be the first in line to get that thing jabbed in me.
Yeah, for sure. What would be another? I think, like, was it? To be honest, I don't want to talk about it. It's my show. I don't want to. Your show. I don't think I want to talk more about COVID because I was going to get into the whole like, did the Chinese government release it?
Oh yeah, and that just opens up a whole other can of
I feel like
worms.
even though it's current and it could, but I'm like, I can't back my answers with anything. Like,
Yeah. I have no. For one, I got no skin in the game.
yeah,
And I've also got no expertise. So it's
Yeah.
like I can't sit here and definitively say yes or no on things.
yeah. It's not being pussy about it. It's just I just don't know.
Yeah. I also don't want to get hacked by the Chinese government or anything. So.
Yeah, they'll probably listen somehow. But
Or somehow kicked off YouTube or some weird shit.
the other thing is 9/11. Now,
Yeah. Okay.
let's just dive straight into it.
Strap in.
Can a plane or jet fuel take a building down?
I believe it can. Like,
See,
I'm not a structural engineer, but I think flying a fucking jet into a plane knocks it over.
Exactly. Well, I asked when we're in the Maldives on our honeymoon. We were hanging out with these American guys, and I asked them, like, do you reckon it was set up, like, and all this? He's like, a plane flew into the building. Google it. Like, it happened.
It's like there's video. The
Yeah.
plane hit it. Like, so we'll go back. So the overarching conspiracy theme is essentially that 9/11 was orchestrated by the US government
Yeah.
in order to give them a reason to start the war in the Middle East.
Yeah. But why would you do that to your own people?
Okay, so and what they then go on to is, yes, the planes did hit, but it was actually that they were already rigged with explosives. And they talk about it's like, if the plane hit like that, shouldn't it have then, fallen on and collapsed all weird instead of coming straight down and
Like a demolition sort of thing.
Yeah, and then the whole thing of like, well, jet fuel burning isn't enough to melt the steel beams.
Yeah.
That's the one that they always traipse out. And look, I know nothing about the heat of jet fuel burning. I know nothing about structural engineering, but to me, it seems logical that a plane would hit it. It would take
Make a weak
catastrophic
point.
damage.
Yeah.
And then it would fall over. I don't know about how it falls over. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just luck that it went that. I don't know. I can't tell you.
I think with the weight, I don't know. Yeah, with the weight of how it fell, like they say, it fell from the ground down. I don't know. All it takes is something from the weight of the top to implode it or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess they're thinking of it from the basis of like you have to weaken the foundation for it to do that. But it's like, to me, any structure as a whole, you weaken one point, all of it's weak.
Yeah.
So,
Or Jenga.
yeah.
If you stuff up at the top, I'm pretty sure it just does its little thing and something that just falls. So, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing with 9/11 that gets me, and this also goes back into a lot of conspiracy theories that are around there, including the COVID one of the Chinese government releasing it, or, and 5G of mind control or whatever the hell it is. So there's a ex-CIA agent who I still believe works within the intelligence field, and his name is Mike Baker. He's a very frequent guest on Joe Rogan, but I've heard him speak on other things as well. And he's spoken about conspiracy theories before, like JFK's assassination and whatnot, and gone, look, there's some things that don't make sense.
Yeah.
These have been looked into and they still don't make sense. Like, he doesn't give his opinion on them, but he sort of goes, there's something weird.
Yeah.
When it comes to 9/11, he just goes, all right, an operation of that size would take thousands of people to execute. Like what they're talking about is people to rig a building with explosives while it's active with tens of thousands of people working in those towers and not one of them questioning what is this about.
Yeah.
Then government employees just towing the line and not at some point objecting, going, we're going to kill thousands of our own countrymen.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead with this operation because it's for the war, you know?
Yeah.
So there's so many layers to it. And it also comes down to nobody can keep a secret.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, even if you had somebody who would just, like, be blindly obedient, you go, this is the plan, we're going to take down the World Trade Center because it means we can start this war for oil and, you know, money and et cetera, et cetera. Even that person who just went, yep, that's what we're going to do, I'm on board, we'll do it, you can't get them to shut up about it. Do you know what I mean? They're going to tell their wife. Their wife's going to tell this person.
Yeah.
It just spreads like wildfire. And there's been none of that. There's been no, anonymous tipster being like, I was told about this plan. This is what happened. This is who can corroborate my story. It came from the government. There's been none of that. Yeah. And to contain something of that size is impossible because you cannot trust people to keep their mouth shut.
But you try to say that to someone who's a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, okay.
You know, like JFK's assassination is a little bit more plausible maybe because it's like a handful of people who all have a skin in the game. Yeah. And they go, all right, we're just going to get this one psycho who's got a problem with him already. We're going to be able to like craft this to have total deniability, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and get him to do it. Yeah. Even that is very, very difficult in itself, but it's a lot easier than taking down 2 buildings for the World Trade Center and passing it off as a government plan.
All right, another one. And I'm sorry if this brings up any bad memories for people. Like, it was definitely a shit time when it happened. Mm-hmm. Like, I still remember the day it happened. I was pretty scared the day it happened because I thought we were going to go to war. Like,
9/11.
9/11.
Yeah.
Like, that was bad. And I guess
I remember being distinctly in disbelief about it because like people had come late to school and heard it on the radio and started saying stuff. And I was like, I don't understand even what you're saying right now. Yeah. And then our first lesson of the day was in the computer labs at school. Yeah. And literally everything just stopped. The teacher brought up the TV news feed. Yeah. And we just sat there watching it. And I was like, holy shit.
I was surprised about that. I remember I was in grade 5 when it happened, but they ran us through all the lockdown drills and everything, like hardcore. It must have been a school thing, like all schools had to go through a program, like make sure your lockdown stuff's up to date in case there is something. Like, all protocols. But that was pretty scary. I remember being in grade 5 and they'll bring in the TVs and making all us kids watch it on TV. It was like,
I mean, I guess it's still to this date the biggest act of terrorism we've seen in our lives. Yeah. And, you know, during our lifetime, there has been other pretty severe events, but that's got to be the biggest one. Like, it sticks with everyone who was alive.
All right. Let's get off that one. Let's get to a happy one that is kind of ridiculous. The moon landing.
Oh, that it was all staged.
Yeah, I think that's funny. I had this, I always just assumed it was real. Then I looked into a conspiracy being like, no, it was just set up because America just wanted to beat, what is it? Russia.
Yeah.
I think Alex is someone who will say it didn't happen.
Yeah, okay.
Because apparently, I think he's the one that told me about how things can't even actually get that far into space or whatever. I don't know. My thing that I heard from Josh Stewart in Behind Crimson Eyes, because he looked into it, he's just like, they went there and Russia's been there as well or whatever. But the thing was, it was a race to get there. Yeah. They found it. They said it was just a rock. There's no reason to be there. Yeah. There's nothing on it.
Yeah. Well, that's why there hasn't been any more moon landings since Apollo 17 or something like that, which was a long time ago because it's like there's nothing we can learn from going there. Yeah. But back then it was like that Cold War era and it was America and the Soviets were just in competition for everything. Yeah. Like the nuclear arms race, the moon landing, like even if people have watched The Queen's Gambit, that's during the Cold War. You know, the chess thing. And
Yeah,
that's why it was so important for an American to beat a Soviet at chess. Like in the Olympics, every single thing was like that. It was just those two were at odds because it was communism and, you know, democracy.
Yeah.
They were at odds.
What do you reckon it happened or it didn't?
I reckon it happened.
Yeah.
Look, if it came out and it was like, actually the Soviets were the first to the moon, the Neil Armstrong one was all staged, I'd be like, okay.
Have you seen the video where Buzz Aldrin just punches the guy?
No.
Because he was just getting sick of it. People just saying it was fake.
Yeah.
And Buzz Aldrin walks out of this building and, a guy just says he's a phony and whatnot. And he just punches him. It's like, and it was like not even that long. It was probably like 5 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This guy's a phony.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a fake. I haven't looked into it enough, but I remember hearing other people talk about it, and there's experts that go, no, like, you know, the way he's moving, the way this happens, like that's what really happens in a zero gravity environment. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, if I found out that it was a fake, I wouldn't be shocked. Like just because of the way the world was back then, like they had to beat the Soviets.
Yeah, but I'm like, well, do it then. If it didn't happen, at least do it so I can see it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another one that was brought up on Facebook when I asked the question was Epstein. You seen the Epstein thing?
What about it?
The documentary on what happened, the pedophile ring and all that.
Yep.
And then he was in jail, and then there was a blackout, and all of a sudden he's hung himself during this blackout.
Yeah.
To me, that's just like he was killed.
Epstein did not hang himself.
No.
And he was clearly a really fucking terrible human.
Yeah.
Like he was a bad dude, straight up. That guy didn't hang himself.
No.
He was about to turn on everybody else that he knew.
Yep.
The people that he took to his island and had dirt on.
Yep.
They freaked out and somebody had him killed.
Yep. Okay. Now, what's another one? Everyone's talking about Paul McCartney. Apparently he...
Yeah, so this is the only one that we semi-researched.
Yeah.
We said we'd do some research and we did no research.
No.
But I sort of remembered this one. And so there's always been a lot of weird things about the Beatles, conspiracy theories. And this is only one of them because there's all like Illuminati and they're a satanic cult and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get the details right of this. So I've pulled up an article from Rolling Stone. So we have to credit them.
Actually, on that satanic thing that you just said, see, we used to have this school teacher and he reckons that the Beatles started metal. Like metal wouldn't be a thing if it gets backdated to the Beatles. The fact now that you've just said that means, maybe the Beatles did start metal. If there was
They're
some
all satanic.
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, so this is from the Rolling Stone by Rob Sheffield. And the conspiracy is that Paul McCartney is dead and was replaced by a lookalike. Right, so 50 years ago, a Detroit DJ accidentally started the biggest hoax in rock and roll history, the Paul is Dead craze. It blew up on October 12th, 1969, when Russ Gibb was hosting his show on WKNR. A mysterious caller told him to put on the Beatles' White Album and spin the number 9 intro from Revolution 9 backwards. When Gibb tried it on air, he heard the words, "Turn me on, dead man." The clues kept coming. At the end of Strawberry Fields Forever, John says, "I buried Paul." What could it all mean? It meant the Beatles were hiding a secret. Paul McCartney got killed in a car crash back in 1966 and the band replaced him with an imposter. The rumour spread like wildfire. As fans searched their Beatle albums for clues 50 years later, Paul is Dead remains the weirdest and most famous of all music conspiracy theories. Became a permanent part of Beatles lore, a totally fan-generated phenomenon that only the band could only watch with amusement or exasperation. As Paul told Rolling Stone in 1974, someone from the office rang me up and said, "Look, Paul, you're dead." And I said, "Oh, I don't agree with that." But yeah, so very weird because 2 days after that, the Michigan Daily explained that the Abbey Road cover was a funeral procession. Not possession. Why do I always fuck up? A funeral procession. So The Preacher, John in white. The Undertaker, Ringo in black. The Dead Man, corpse. And bringing up the rear is George in blue denim as the Gravedigger. So very weird, very strange. And that goes on and on and on. Like, you can get really deep in that, as people have, because they pick these things up and develop an obsession. So they go on to the next record and what do they say in that and all that kind of thing. Like, there's some whole theory of, like, off Sgt. Pepper's Club, like something like the word walrus in Scandinavian means corpse. Oh, what? And so Paul is the walrus, you know, like weird stuff like that. There's another one, I think it's the Abbey Road cover as well, is that Paul is barefoot. Yeah. He's out of step with the other three. Like, they might be left foot forward and he's right foot forward, something like that. So he's barefoot, he's out of step with them, and also he's left-handed. Yeah. But on that cover, he's got a cigarette in his right hand. So, you know, it's all these things that people
they just add up. People look into it and they get sucked down a wormhole, or what is it, a rabbit hole, and then, you know, then they're looking at their 5G telephones and I don't know.
And it goes on and on.
Yeah, it goes on and on. Well, I'm spooked out.
But what do you reckon about that one? Plausible or no?
Look, it's plausible because of the info that they've just put out.
Yeah.
But if I want to believe in something, I believe he's alive and that he's alive.
Yeah, because to find somebody that looks exactly like him...
I feel like by now it would have come out.
Yeah.
In another way from them.
Definitely. But someone that looks exactly like him, somebody that is a left-handed guitarist, somebody that sounds like him when he sings, but then also somebody that went on to write the hits Hey Jude and Blackbird, arguably like the Beatles' two biggest songs. That guy should have been in the band from the start anyway.
Not to mention, how do you find someone pre-social media?
Yeah.
That's so alike.
Yeah. How did they find that guy?
Yeah.
And how did he not speak Kazakhstani or something?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like,
so
yeah, it's highly implausible. Plus, also, they think that happened in 1969, and we're now in 2021, and it never came out.
Yeah, nah, it's all bullshit.
Because you know, how many of like government cover-ups have actually been exposed? You know, through WikiLeaks and Snowden and that kind of thing. Because I 100% believe that governments of the world do shady shit.
Oh yeah,
but I don't think
they don't do
that it's this stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe JFK.
Yeah.
Maybe.
See, oh, God, I don't know. Well, what can you do? You just got to live your own life.
Literally nothing. It's like,
you live your own
know
life.
the government lies to me. That's not a shock. Like,
yeah. So I think, well, we're going to have to wrap it up because I'm spooked out, and I just like my own life.
Yeah.
There's no conspiracy. I don't know. What's a conspiracy? If someone made a conspiracy about us, what would it be?
Ooh.
That we're not real? That we're just people that are in your phone?
Well, I mean, that's a greater one, is that like we're in the Matrix, you know?
Yeah.
That we're all products of the Matrix. People actually believe that. A conspiracy about us. Have to be something to do with the band.
Yeah. That
I don't know what though.
Yeah, make sure it's a positive thing. No, yeah.
Oh, probably that we did play our own instruments.
No, our conspiracy was that we never had any intention on becoming musicians.
Oh, it was all just accident.
It was all just so we could start a podcast and talk about time and music. No, they never wanted to go on tour. They just did it so they had something to talk about.
They never did go on tour. Ask somebody. There's no one at the show.
That's the conspiracy. That is it. Wow.
Oh, they did it to sell more podcasts.
Yes. Oh, there you go. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us. That was conspiracies. I don't know. We'll probably never do that one again.
No more conspiracy theories?
No, unless they just...
Unless we get smarter.
Yeah.
We'll do it if we get people who know shit about stuff.
Alex and Ryan are the ones that I think have their knowledge on it.
Yeah, they do. Because oddly enough, they make the time to look into that sort of stuff, whereas you and I don't.
Nah.
Too busy living life, man.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I know you guys are busy, but still. Where did you find the time to listen to that?
It feels like this episode took a lot out of you.
Well, I know people that have actually changed from last year.
Oh, yeah.
Like they got fed, like they were happy people, but they fed too much energy into conspiracies, and now I'm like, I don't even enjoy talking to you anymore.
Oh, okay.
Like it's gotten to that stage for 'em.
Unhealthy extremes.
Yeah. That's all good. Hopefully they come around and whatever they were looking for turned out to be the thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then, I don't know.
Look, I think conspiracy theories can be fun and interesting. I
Yeah.
think we'll revisit it, especially like, you get to Area 51, Bob Lazar.
Flat Earth.
Uh,
Did we talk about that? No, we didn't.
did we?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Flat Earth, definitely.
Flat Earth. We will get around to it.
Yeah, so there's fun ones. And maybe we'll even look into it somewhat and be a little more educated. Probably not, but maybe.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. All right.
On
Thanks
that
for
note.
talking and listening and that. All right. We're going to go to the gym.
Righto.
All right. Catch us later.